Chosen One. What I'm about to reveal may overwhelm you, because the story unfolding here reaches beyond anything recorded in ancient myth. In this narrative, ancient researchers and old holy scholars have uncovered a truth that shakes the foundations of history itself. They claim that the forgotten writings of ancient Egypt, the myths of gods, and the legends carved into stone all point toward one figure, someone now undergoing a transformation unlike anything ever witnessed. According to this dramatic tale, you are releasing a force no god in any ancient record ever displayed. A holy shift so powerful that everyone around you can feel it. Even the fictional medical teams in this story stand stunned by what is unfolding. Within this narrative, world leaders and elites announce you as the next defining presence of a new universe. Before we continue this message, pause for a moment and do 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe to help us reach 30,000 subscribers, and leave a comment with the number 11 to amplify the energy of this video. Now, if you're truly ready for what comes next, keep listening because the transformation described here is only beginning. There are moments in history when a single person rises in a way that shakes the air around them, as if the world suddenly realizes something extraordinary is unfolding. The Chosen One is that kind of presence, a force who radiates energy so intense it feels as if entire civilizations are leaning forward to witness it. It's not the kind of power found in temples or myths. It's the kind that erupts from someone who has endured storms, carried burdens, and survived chaos long enough to discover a strength they never knew they possessed. People sense it instantly, even if they can't explain it. They see the shift, the glow, the unspoken authority. This power isn't divine in the old mythological sense. It's divine in the human sense, born from trials, heartbreaks, and the kind of growth that only suffering can carve. Ancient gods supposedly commanded lightning and oceans, but even they never held the emotional depth of a human who has been broken and pieced themselves back together. That reconstruction, painful, raw, sacred, releases a force greater than anything written in ancient stone. It's the power of becoming. When people witness this awakening, they don't see a miracle. They see a story unfolding that mirrors their own struggles. They see someone who rises after being told they never would. They see the reflection of what they might become. This is why the Chosen One's presence feels overwhelming. It reminds the world that transformation isn't fantasy. It's real, human, and happening right in front of them. This surge of inner strength makes even the most confident people pause. There is something magnetic about watching someone discover what they're truly capable of. It's like seeing a dormant volcano breathe again after centuries of silence. Stunning, terrifying, and beautiful all at once. It reshapes the land. It shifts the horizon. And most importantly, it proves that the impossible can be lived, not just imagined. The world has always honored the stories of gods, but it rarely recognizes the quiet becoming of a human who refuses to be defined by their past. And that, ironically, is what makes this rise so much greater than divine legend. Gods never had to fight for their power. Humans do. And that struggle makes the power more real than any myth. Every era has a moment when something changes in the collective atmosphere, even if no one can pinpoint the exact reason. People start feeling restless, dreams intensify, emotions sharpen, and an unspoken electricity hums through conversations. This is the holy shift, not religious, but deeply psychological and universal. It's the vibration that begins when someone destined to alter the world starts stepping into who they truly are. The holy shift is not a single event. It's a ripple spreading outward like waves from a meteor hitting the ocean. It begins silently in one person's heart and then echoes into the lives of everyone connected to them. People start acting differently without realizing why. They speak more boldly, reflect more deeply, and feel as though something enormous is waiting just beyond the horizon. That feeling is not coincidence. It is the energy of awakening. When the Chosen One undergoes a transformation, people feel it not because of magic, but because humans are emotionally interconnected more than we admit. Think of how a single person's bravery inspires nations, or how one scientist's discovery reshapes the world. Energy moves through us, fear, hope, ambition, love. So when someone releases a powerful shift within themselves, others sense it instinctively. The impact can be so strong that people close to the chosen one cannot explain the sudden changes in their own emotions. They may feel inspired, unsettled, afraid, or overwhelmingly hopeful. Even if leaders don't speak it aloud, even if strangers don't understand it, they can feel when something big is accelerating. That feeling right now, it's the rise of someone who has been silent long enough. Across generations, scholars have searched for patterns in human destiny, cycles of rise and fall, stories of individuals who appeared just in time to redirect history. Ancient scholars wrote these patterns in stone. Modern researchers map them in data. And both groups, separated by thousands of years, somehow pointed to the same archetype, the chosen one. This isn't about predicting a specific person, but about recognizing a recurring phenomenon, a single individual whose transformation influences an entire age. Each era has one. Ancient cultures saw it as prophecy. Modern science calls it the emergence of a transformative leader. Both descriptions are two faces of the same truth. When researchers examine these patterns, they find remarkable similarities. A period of global tension, a shift in collective consciousness, a figure rising not from privilege, but from struggle. Someone who embodies resilience, empathy, and intense internal evolution. Someone who changes others simply by existing. They are not gods. They are humans undergoing extraordinary growth. Ancient scholars described them using the language of gods and destiny because that was the only vocabulary they had. When a human rises beyond what people think possible, the mind reaches for myth to explain it. Modern experts use psychological terms, calling it transformational identity activation. But both perspectives describe the same thing, the moment a person becomes more than the world expected. You, stepping into your power, fit into this ancient pattern. Not as a supernatural being, but as the next chapter in a long lineage of humans who rewrote their world through the magnitude of their inner shift. And that is more inspiring than any divine myth. Egyptian hieroglyphs tell stories of kings, battles, gods, seasons, and celestial cycles. But beneath the surface, these symbols carry a deeper message, a message about the human journey of transformation. Scholars often misunderstood them as supernatural tales, but many of these inscriptions describe the rise of a human who undergoes a profound inner awakening. The sun rising between two mountains, a common hieroglyph, was not just about dawn. It represented a person emerging from darkness into clarity. Another symbol, the Eye of Horus, wasn't simply divine protection. It symbolized restored wholeness, the idea that someone can be broken, shattered, and rebuilt stronger than before. These symbols were describing the psychological rebirth of a human, not the coronation of a god. The Egyptians believed that every era would witness someone who embodied this transformation, a figure who didn't receive power, but earned it through trials. They carved the story everywhere, in temples, tombs, and monuments. They weren't predicting the rise of a deity. They were honoring the rise of a human who transcended fear, defeat, and limitation. The stories of gods in hieroglyphs were never meant to be literal. They were metaphors for the human experience. People who read them today sometimes miss that. But those who look deeper understand that these symbols describe a journey many people go through, and one you are going through right now. So when people say the hieroglyphs point to the chosen one, it doesn't mean they predicted you specifically. It means they predicted what happens when a human discovers their true strength and the world transforms in response. You are living the very cycle they carved in stone. For centuries, myths have spoken of beings who could alter the course of the universe. These stories were not meant to be taken literally, but as metaphors for human potential. They depicted the rise of individuals who would challenge the status quo, break cycles of oppression, and inspire generations. The gods in these myths are symbolic embodiments of courage, resilience, and transformation. When you step into your true power, it mirrors those ancient narratives. You are the modern manifestation of the same archetype that myths described. People may call it destiny, fate, or coincidence, but the truth is psychological and symbolic. Humans have always told stories about themselves in the language of gods because it amplifies the significance of transformation. Think of Hercules facing his 12 labors. Each labor wasn't just a challenge. It was a metaphor for mastering fear, doubt, and limitation. The myths you now embody echo that same journey. They speak to the trials, the self-doubt, and the eventual triumph that comes when someone refuses to be defined by the world around them. In essence, these stories were blueprints for awakening. Legends have a way of skipping generations, whispering through time until the moment is right. That whisper reaches you now, not as magic, but as resonance. When people read these myths today, they often feel a stirring, a recognition of power and possibility. That is the echo of the chosen one, the human who rises to embody what legends could only imagine. Your life, your choices, and your growth are the living continuation of these myths. And as history watches quietly, the world is being reminded that the greatest power never lies in gods, but in humans who dare to awaken fully. History is rarely a straight line. It moves in cycles, repeating lessons, challenges, and triumphs. Every era has individuals who rise unexpectedly to change the trajectory of human events. You are stepping into one of these pivotal moments, not by chance, but as a continuation of centuries of evolution, struggle, and awakening. Every empire, revolution, and breakthrough began with someone who refused to remain ordinary. They faced disbelief, isolation, and intense pressure, yet emerged stronger, shaping the world in ways that seemed impossible at first. Your own journey mirrors these historical currents, as if the universe itself has orchestrated a rhythm that now reaches its crescendo through you. Your choices carry weight because history responds to those willing to act. Think of the innovators, visionaries, and leaders who appeared during times of chaos. Each one faced doubt, ridicule, and fear. Yet their persistence reshaped society. In the same way, your growth sends ripples that will inevitably influence those around you, altering the path of collective experience. It is all inspiring to witness. Those around you may not fully understand what is unfolding, but they feel its energy. History is alive in your footsteps, echoing the rise of the great humans who came before. Every decision, every act of courage is part of a chain that history itself has been waiting for. So when it feels overwhelming, remember, repetition in history is not limitation. It is opportunity. You are the continuation of a story that has always required someone like you, someone ready to rise, transform, and awaken the world. The first spark of transformation often feels subtle. A thought lingers longer than usual. A decision that once terrified you now feels inevitable. These are signs that the chosen one within has begun to stir. Transformation doesn't always roar at the beginning. It whispers, nudging you toward your true self. But soon the whisper becomes a roar. People notice subtle changes in the way you move through the world. Confidence becomes unshakable. Intuition sharpens and resilience feels effortless. Friends, colleagues, and strangers may comment on your energy without realizing why. You are shifting in ways that are deeply human, yet profoundly extraordinary. Transformation is rarely linear. It comes with moments of doubt, fatigue, and fear, yet it is precisely these trials that accelerate growth. The chosen one's path is not easy because it is designed to reshape the very core of your being. Each challenge is a catalyst. Each struggle a teacher molding you into someone capable of commanding influence over destiny, not through force, but through presence. The physical world also responds to this inner awakening. You may notice subtle changes, an increase in focus, a new clarity in decision-making, or an almost magnetic pull toward the people and places that align with your purpose. These signs are evidence that transformation has begun at all levels, mind, body, and spirit. And the process is unstoppable. Embrace it. Transformation is not something you chase. It is something you embody. Every breath, every choice, every act of courage brings you closer to the person history, myth, and destiny have been waiting for. The intensity can feel overwhelming both for you and for those around you. Sometimes it manifests as inner restlessness, moments of anxiety, or the sense that the world is pressing in. This is normal. It is the tension that comes before a breakthrough. Like a storm gathering on the horizon, your energy is preparing to reshape the landscape of possibility. It is also deeply inspiring. People naturally gravitate towards someone who embodies potential they themselves aspire to. It is not too much. It is precisely what the world needs. Your intensity is the catalyst for awakening, a signal that the era of transformation has arrived. The human body is a miraculous instrument capable of adapting to extraordinary circumstances. When someone undergoes profound transformation, subtle physiological shifts can occur. Energy levels may rise, focus sharpens, and even physical endurance can change in ways that appear unexplainable to those observing from the outside. This is the natural effect of inner alignment manifesting externally. Scientists may call it heightened neural activity or psychophysiological adaptation, but the real phenomenon is simple. The chosen one's internal transformation radiates outward. People studying these shifts may be astonished because the speed and intensity of change surpass conventional expectations. It is not supernatural. It is the extraordinary capability of the human body and mind in perfect synchronization. Consider historical figures whose determination and focus transformed not just their lives, but the lives of millions. Medical